It is once again time for the Boozy Bookworm. And the book that I'll be reviewing today is actually one I just recently finished reading, and by that I mean 3 days ago. But actually when you guys watch this, it won't be 3 days ago. But know that a week before this, it was 3 days ago. So 10 days ago. Anyway, wow, what a tangent. Today's book is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, and the wine I have to go with this is Noble Vines. It's a Pinot Noir. I picked it because there's this little crown on it and it matches this crown, and once we get into the book, we all know that there's some prince and princesses and queens and whatnot, so noble makes sense. It was $11.99 and it is fantastic. I'm gonna give it a 4.75 out of 5. Very plummy with hints of cherry. I feel like that's a lot of red wines, but you know, sometimes they're different, but this is a good one and I like it, so 4.75. This book has so much go on during it, and a lot of characters, so I'm gonna do my best. This world is divided. There are reds and there are silvers, and what that means is there are people that have red blood and then there are people that have silver blood, and those people have powers and stuff. So there are people that can wield fire, and there are people that can control metal and all sorts of different powers. But essentially the silvers are the elite and the reds are the poor servants and slaves and stuff like that. The main character is Mare Barrow, and she lives in this place called the Stilts. And to set the scene even further for you folks, the reds have the option to get a job if you can, because here's the thing, is jobs are really scarce. So if you can get an apprenticeship when you're young in a trade, then that's great and you're safe. If you're not, at 18 you're forced to join the army. She lives with her mom and her dad and her sister Giza, and she did have 3 brothers, but they went to war. So Bree, Trammy, and Shade have not been heard from in a while because they're at war. And so she has this friend, Killorn, and he had an apprenticeship as a fisherman. However, since then, his mentor has died, and so now he has no mentor, so he lost his apprenticeship, and so now he has to enlist. He's gonna go to the army, and so he's freaking out because he has no skills other than how to make a net to catch fish. And so Mare is like, oh my gosh, I have to save him. So she goes to talk to this guy, Will Whistle, and he is like, oh, I can't help you smuggle you out. That's not really a thing. I just smuggle things in. And so anyway, she talks to Farley, this woman Farley, and Farley's like, well, I can take you out, but it's going to cost you 2 crowns. And so she's like, oh my God, how do I get that much money? Killorn out. And so they go into this city that's just silvers, and so that Mare can pickpocket people, only to find out it doesn't work, and this little stunt ends up getting Giza her hand crushed. So now she can't make silk. So now her sister's hand is crushed and she's useless. And that's kind of mean, but... And so Mare goes on to her usual night of debauchery, and that means pickpocketing. And so she's standing and pickpocketing people as they come out of a bar, and all of a sudden this guy walks out and she tries to pickpocket him, except he catches her, which is the first time ever. And turns out his name is Cal, and she explains her situation because she's been caught, so what else are you gonna do? And he gives her 1 crown, and then they keep walking because he's like, I'm gonna walk you home. And they keep walking, and he gives her another one, which is basically, again, her and Killorn's escape. So she has enough money now, so Cal's a great guy. I don't know if it's the next day, but it's definitely a day. Some servants from the castle / I guess guards maybe, show up to the Barrows household. The Barrows think it's a raid, but the servants / guards are like, hey, Mare, we're taking you with us. And she's like, huh? Oh God, I've been caught because I've been pickpocketing my whole life. So turns out she's been given a job as a servant in the castle. So now she's at the summer home for the Royal Silvers, and they're having their Queen's Trial, which is basically where the prince gets to watch all of the eligible and worthy silver women, girls, perform their powers and demonstrate their skills, to which he can then pick a queen. But there are two princes, Tiberius and Maven. And so there are two queens that need to be, or queens, that need to be picked. Because really only Tiberius is like next in line. Then Maven, I guess, if anything happens, so like whatever. Mare is like watching from the red servant area. The girl trips and she falls over the railing, you know, like Mare would. And surrounding the whole like dome is an electric like force field to keep the spectators safe from all of the queen's trial participants' powers. And so in theory, a red servant who has no abilities and no powers would get electrocuted and die. And even a silver would get electrocuted and die. Except Mare doesn't die. And this is like, I guess, good for Mare, but also really not good for Mare, because everyone just saw that she's a red-blooded person, like she's a red. And reds aren't supposed to have powers, but it turns out that Mare has the power of lightning and electricity, and she didn't know because why would she have powers? She's a red. So needless to say, now Mare is she's in a little bit of hot water. So she gets called to talk to the king and queen, and they are like absolutely flabbergasted and also baffled as to what to do, and they're in a bit of a conundrum. And so basically what they decide is Mare is not actually red. At least that's what they're going to tell people. She is Marina Titanos, which is a silver family, and her father used to be in a war general, and he died, and the mother died. And so a red soldier on the front line took her, so she was raised red, but she's actually silver. With this all being said, the king and queen also announced that she is going to marry a prince. She's going to marry Maven because they really need to hide this and also keep her close. With every dystopian novel, there is a rebellion, and so there is this thing called the Scarlet Guard, and they are a bunch of red rebels who are trying to revolt, obviously, against the silvers because, like, they're different, yes, but they're not weaker or less important than the silvers just because the silvers have power. Doesn't mean they're less human or less valuable. So Mare still has her allegiances to the red because obviously she's in a silver court and has no idea why she's there because she's not fooling anyone, not really. So anyway, she becomes part of the Scarlet Guard because she wants reds and silvers to be equal. She also has this like trainer Julian who is actually Cal's uncle, not Maven's uncle though, because Maven and Cal have different mothers. So the current queen is Maven's mother, but the deceased queen is Cal's mom. So they're only half brothers. Anyway, she is not the only one in the castle that wants to be part of the Scarlet Guard. And it's not just reds that want to be part of the Scarlet Guard. Some silvers do too, i.e. Maven. Maven wants to be part of the Scarlet Guard. And so they both swear in, and now they're working together to try to dethrone, I don't even think that's a word. They want to kick Cal and the king off the throne because Cal and the king don't think that the reds and the silvers will ever be able to be equal because it'll be a war and a lot of dead on either side, and there's just too much bloodshed for that to be worth it. But Maven wants to, and now Mare is kind of like, Maven's kind of sweet and kind of nice, and he wants reds to be equal, so like, Kylorn also joins the Scarlet Guard, and Mare's pissed about that because she is at the palace, and her agreement with the king and queen in order to pretend to be a silver was that all of her brothers would be returned from the army and Kylorn would never have to go. Now that he's here, she's like, great, I traded you one war for another. Like, you weren't supposed to do that, you dummy. So much happens in this novel. But anyway, the Scarlet Guard devises a plan. They're like, we're gonna attack the like city center-ish, this area of silver territory because they think they can. However, they show up and Cal's there and Mare's like, choose me, love me. Which is funny because Meredith Grey, and also they call her Mare, but also this is Mare. McDreamy didn't deserve that. And it is at this point that Cal captures Maven and Mare, and he brings them to the king and queen, and all of a sudden Maven is not who he appears to be. Which Mare was warned about. Julian told her, hey, Maven is very much so his mother's son. And Mare was like, you don't even know him. He is great. And I've been here for 30 seconds and you've been here for years and you know nothing. Turns out Julian might have been right. Maven is a two-timing slimy little weasel of he was plotting and faking the entire time. He was working for his mother. And then his mother, Queen Alara, forces Cal to behead his father because she's a whisperer. So the other part of whispering, other than seeing memories and feelings and stuff, is you can control the actions. You're basically like a puppeteer. And so she makes Cal kill his father, and the whole kingdom sees this, and so now he's a traitor and a murderer, and Mare is a murderer and also a traitor, and so they are sentenced to death. They go to the Bowl of Bones and they have to fight. But funny thing is, only Cal is granted his powers. Anyway, there's a battle. Cal almost dies. She almost dies. But they don't. And all of a sudden they're on a train with Farley and also Shade. Her brother Shade. And that's kind of where it ends. Now it is time for the breakdown. Cover design is going to get a 5 out of 5. I remember vividly being like 17, 16, I don't know. I remember picking it up at Barnes & Noble and being like, wow, this is a really pretty cover. Like, I like it. And I didn't buy it. Characters are a 4 out of 5. I love almost all of them. There are a lot of characters. But that means that there's a lot of variety, which I feel like is why it's okay to have a lot of characters sometimes, as long as it's done well. And in this one, it's done well. Plot will also get a 4 out of 5 because I feel like this is a pretty original tale. I mean, there are powers and obviously like that has been done before. Red versus silver, like they're different blood. So like while they're all human, they are still different, and it's not just the powers that divide them, it's the blood. The ending will also get a 4 because I like that it ends. You find out Shade's alive, but Cal, it's like kind of weird between Cal and Mare. She really thought he would like choose her because she thought he loved her, and like he does, but he's also a king. He was born and raised a king. To like there's so much that happens. Anyway, it's a 4. And the book drop is a 3 out of 5. I honestly feel it's either when you find out that Cal is Prince Tiberius, or that when Mare finds out she has lightning powers, all of which happens very early on, and it's not really shocking. I mean, Mare having powers is shocking, but Cal being the prince is not shocking. So like, it like does the trick enough, but it could have been better, I feel like, so it's a 3 out of 5. So that gives Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard a 4 out of 5, which is exactly what I gave it on Goodreads. It was a good book. I read it really fast. I want more from the characters. I'm already now at this point I'm on the 3rd book. The characters do get, there's more. So like, I get it. The first book though, I feel like is like the foundation. This is the foundation to your house of a series, and it needs to be more, but I love it. It is a 4. It is good. Well, there you have it. Another Friday, another Boozy Bookworm review. I will catch you next time. Stay boozy, my friends.